a bunch of LGBTQIA teens are sent to a gay conversion camp. And that wasn't bad and horrifying enough for a bunch of teens that just want to be accepted for who they are and be able to live as their true selves. They are then confronted by the fact that there is a killer on the loose, so they must try to fight for their lives, and they/them, a Peacock original that Blumhouse also produced. Because whenever there is a slasher movie concept that they can sprinkle a little bit of money on and then turn that into buco box office and make more and more money on movies that, for good, bad, or indifferent, do make quite a bit of money. Somehow the Fantasy Island horror remake made a whole bunch of money, despite the fact that movie was shit. Blumhouse basically will sniff out these scripts to make buco box office and make buco money like a drug-sniffing dog at the airport. This was written and directed by John Logan. He wrote movies such as Any Given Sunday, Gladiator, Time Machine. I retro-reviewed The Time Machine. It's worse than I remember. But Gladiator and Any Given Sunday were pretty goddamn good, especially Gladiator. One of my favorite movies, here, say it with me, of all time. The Last Samurai, The Aviator, The Way of the Future, The Way of the Future, The Way of the Future. Show me the blueprints, show me the blueprints. Why did Leonardo DiCaprio not win an Oscar for that? I'll never know. Sweeney Todd was a movie that certainly existed. And then Skyfall and Spectre, and a few others. So he's wrote a lot of big movies. And then he wrote this. And he also directed this. He got Kevin Bacon to be part of it, or the studio got Kevin Bacon to be part of it. He must have had an off day and said, yeah, sure, I'll shoot this movie. That'll probably take about 2 goddamn weeks. He plays Owen Whistler, and instead of Whistler Camp, might as well have been called Camp Whistler Lake for all the slasher tropes that they decided to do. And all these teens following, some just, want to be there because their parents are sending them there. And if they do that, then they can be able to live their lives. Some really want to change because they want their parents to accept them or they want to get into college. Everybody has their reason for being there. And then there's Jordan, played by Theo Germain, that is non-binary. They, them pronouns. So there's boy and girl cabins. They have nowhere to go. So Kevin Bacon's character, after a meeting, says, tell you what, go to the boys' cabin. You're not comfortable. We'll talk about that. Okay, that's fine. Kevin Bacon's awfully accepting. Don't worry, gay people are A-okay with me. We're not going to try to change you. We're just going to help you see who you are and be your true selves and whatever. Otherwise, enjoy the sunshine and enjoy everything. And don't worry, nothing bad's going to happen. Nothing at all. We're just going to take you on some weird exercises, like leave you in the woods for overnight. And, oh yeah, there's a killer on the loose, but we're not going to tell you that yet. The movie won't tell you that for a while because we'll just fucking forget about it. And then they'll just do other weird exercises. They'll have the men, be manly men, be men in tights. They'll be shooting targets out of sight. And then the women will be baking pies. And then we'll get some weird metaphors and everything. And we'll get other stuff. And then eventually, will we get back to the slasher tropes? Possibly. So I was excited to see this movie because I figured, okay, Blumhouse is not necessarily known for making the best goddamn movies. I can't name too many other movies that I have enjoyed because they were good quality and not just enjoyed because they were absolutely shit. Truth or Dare, that was a particularly shit movie. But when I saw it was set at a camp and it was about, gay conversion, I'm like, okay, we're going to turn the whole gay conversion thing on its ear, which, by the way, if you believe in gay conversion camps and that gayness and everything can be cured, you're a fucking asshole, you're a fucking idiot, and you don't deserve to be on this fucking planet. People that have been gay, lesbian, doesn't matter. That whole thing, all this, I mean, I'm trying to figure out the best way to say it. The fact that people have been gay, or any of this, has been around for so goddamn long. It's been back in biblical fucking times, just so you know. I know, mind fucking blowing. So let's let people live as they are. As long as everybody's with consenting adults, who really fucking cares? But when I saw it was set at a camp, I'm like, okay, we're going to get something like this. Sleepaway Camp. Have you seen Sleepaway Camp? If you haven't, pause this review right now. I'll wait. See, wasn't it fucking terrific? I told you it was fucking terrific. That ending, though. Okay, Sleepaway Camp is by no means great, but it has a whopper of an ending, and it is quite entertaining. It's also a slasher that pretty much holds up, even though you probably should have been able to see the ending coming sooner. But that being said, that particular type of message at the end of that, I thought was going to translate to this, and we were going to get something fun with a slasher element. Maybe we were going to get it where somebody was trying to change who they were, and they were just upset that they fell under the LGBTQIA banner, or whatever it was. Or we were just going to get a bunch of genres, Human Centipede together. We were going to get some social commentary, characters that didn't really have a lot to them, all of them. And Then they were going to remember, oh shit, we were a slasher, we were a horror, we got to do something about that. The spoilers will come up in a little bit, but I'm going to be perfectly honest. For all the positives that all the positive thoughts I had going into this, I didn't have huge expectations. This movie is terrible. This movie was fucking terrible. The writing is shit. The acting, and I'm not even saying the actors are bad, but they must have done just 1 or 2 takes of every single goddamn scene, because none of this seemed like it got through past the rough draft. Like, it's like, okay, yeah, that's good, yeah, that's good, yeah, that's good. Blumhouse is like, we'll just make a whole bunch of money on this, and oh yeah, we're going to put it on streaming, because we don't trust this thing to make any money in theaters, and it probably wouldn't have. I mean, dumbasses like me might have gone to watch it in theaters, and we would have been disappointed. This movie is really fucking terrible, and the explanation, I'll get into that in the spoilers, would have been fine if anything leading up to it had actually been like, oh yeah, I really want to see these people get their just desserts. I want to see this. It tries to be sleepaway camp. It tries to be these slashers where it's going to, be possibly a revenge thing, or it's going to be something where it's like there's some deep dark secret that has to be revealed. But if you've been outside for more than 2 fucking minutes, you know where this is going. I want to know when people might have guessed when the killer or who the killer was. It took me about 10 fucking minutes. That's probably down to the fact I've seen so many slasher movies and so many horror movies and everything, and I'm not even like a huge expert on them. It's just so fucking obvious. And unfortunately, the movie doesn't do anything to make you care about the characters, where you don't give a shit. It forgets it's a slasher for most of the first half, and then, oh shit, we're a slasher, and then they forget about it again. And it's just so it's so badly done and just badly put together and badly acted, and there's like, goofiness about these characters, and everything is just so one note and heavy-handed and beating you into the skull with it, where you want to see like a revolt. You want to see something happen where everybody can get their revenge for how badly they're being treated at this camp. The thing is nothing really happens, and and then when stuff finally does happen, nobody really fucking cares. It's really, really fucking stupid. It's really bad. And again, could have been like Sleepaway Camp. It could have been good. You could have been good. Why weren't you good like this? Why weren't you good like this, movie? What the fuck? So yeah, I'm going to get into spoilers. It's on Peacock, so if you're paying for Peacock, you honestly have worse ways to spend your time. Look at their horror section. You can find worse ways to spend your time. This, however, they slash them. Not very good. And they slash them. Do you get it? Do you get it? 3, 2, 1, and spoilers. Okay, spoilers aren't going to take very long. In the very beginning, a woman gets killed by, well, not a moose or an elk or something. That night scene was so goddamn dark, I was actually thinking that there was something wrong with my TV. So I went and watched it on my computer. No, it was just naturally dark. And then she gets killed. And then suddenly, after the kids arrive, hey, we have a new doctor here. Her name's Molly. Gee. Wonder who the fucking killer is. So anyway, there are various characters. We find out certain things about them. There's Quay Tan. I hope I pronounced that right. Alexandra. But we find out, find out a man transitioning to be a woman, so is she. I mean, we'll go with that. But because of how backwards this whole staff is, I mean, all 5 of them are, they decide to just basically put her in the boys' camp, in the boys' cabin. And there's also this very jock guy that just wants to be, he doesn't want to be gay anymore because he wants to get a scholarship and please his dad or he'll be disowned. And then there's Toby that's basically like little Nas X, character-wise, I mean. And then Jordan's like the only fleshed out character. I mean, kinda. And just, it's so mind-numbing. It's so disappointing how it just doesn't utilize its concept. It doesn't have to be straight up where we get a high body count, but you're telling me, like, this movie ends up, the message of it makes sense, but it takes so long to get there, and it just lands with a fucking thud that you don't really give a shit. Basically, here's what it comes down to. Okay, the teens are taking on these exercises, like, left in the woods overnight. the macho man guy helps them shoot. And then there's this old bloodhound that one of them has to shoot because he has cancer, or otherwise the big macho guy is going to break the dog's leg. So they want to torture the dog. That's good. That's a way to get me to not give a shit about your movie if you're going to torture an animal. And then it turns out Jordan's an excellent marksman. Or marks person, rather, as it were. Apologies for that. As they said. And then Kevin Bacon, he's just trying to keep the camp together. Molly gives Alexandra an estrogen pill, or a prescription, rather, basically as a way to help finish transitioning. And she was sent to the camp because she has a little brother that means the world to her, and the parents weren't going to let her see him unless she was sent to that conversion camp and got better. We never see the parents, by the way. And then also there's a staff member that harasses one girl named Kim. Kim ends up making out with a girl named Veronica after saying a line like, "I have to expect Jason Voorhees to pop out of these woods." Let's just beat each other into the head, why don't we? Let's just beat those lines in there. And then this killer had killed somebody in the beginning. There's this creepy gardener that was spying on the girls in their showers, and then that person got their head shoved through the TV computer mod or whatever. And then it just forgets about the slasher element, and then suddenly people start dying because they're just targeting the camp people. Suddenly the doctor sends everybody away, but then the other camp counselors are dying, except for Kevin Bacon and his wife, and then his wife dies. And then it turns out that it's the doctor. The doctor actually isn't the doctor. That's who was killed in the beginning, and this person, not Molly, but Angie, took their place. And it was because she was treated badly at the camp and tortured and everything, and her life felt empty, and she's going to kill Kevin Bacon for what he did. Because they've been torturing children and everything, and they tortured him for years and years and years, even at one point torturing this big guy, Stu, the big macho guy that just wanted to not be gay anymore because he got seduced by this one teen that actually turned out to be working with the Whistlers. And then everybody dies. Everybody literally dies, well, except for any of the campers, just all the camp people. It was all a revenge plot. And then she's trying to convince Jordan, "Please help me, Spock, help me." And then he's like, "No, you know what? I'm strong enough not to do this. I'm not going to do this." And she gores Kevin Bacon on this rhino head that they have because he likes to hunt, and kills him. And then she's arrested, and Jordan's like, "I'm going to go away now. I'm going to go live my life." And there you go. Also, there was a montage of them dancing around to Pink's Fucking Perfect. The movie just isn't good. It has ideas that could be good, but the movie as a movie itself is one of the worst I've seen this year, and I'm disappointed because the idea could have been good. It just wasn't, and it was just so badly done and badly filmed and badly put together that it wastes any potential it had, and I'm giving it an F. It may end up being on my worst films of the year list, and I hate saying that because I was looking forward to it. But anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ricklin. I'll see you soon.